Hi, welcome back everyone. Not the usual introduction as you can see, because today this is a correction video about my solve of mini-orb. Now, I don't mind necessarily making mistakes as part of my solve, because normally what happens is I guess something incorrectly, I pay for my mistake by having to solve it, and it's, a bit more entertainment for you guys. But in my solve for mini-orb, I actually made a mistake or an assumption. No, it was a mistake that proved to be the correct one, and I ended up cutting a whole bunch of logic that many of you guys were stuck on. So what I'm planning to do here now is essentially restart my solve, take you through the correct solve path, and hopefully figure out with you guys essentially what is the correct solution path. Right, enough of an introduction, let's crack on with it. So, mini-orb, you guys will remember it. This is the actual solve. I will restart it. There are essentially 5 4x4 grids, where essentially it's a normal 4x4 Sudoku grid. So you've got boxes that are 2x2, you've got rows, columns that all have to be unique. There's 4 of them. There's one in the center you can see, and then the blue, green, yellow, and red ones. Then lastly, we have Latin squares there, where they do not have squares, but you still need to have unique columns and rows. Arrow sums, as you can see. And then the last thing that's a bit of a twist on the norm is that the Latin squares, since they get to pick 3 of the 4 digits, have to have unique sets. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, so they cannot overlap. Enough of an intro, let's restart, and fingers crossed I will find it. Now, this start here that I had with the 4s is still the correct one, because you can see that's a 1, that's 1 and 2, that's the absolute minimum this can be, and therefore this is the absolute minimum this can be with the 4s. Looking into this 2x2 in this blue square, this 1 is clearly not in these 2 cells, that's a 1, that's 2 or 3. I need a 4 in this column, this can only be down here. Last time what I made as a mistake is essentially assume that this is not a 1, but clearly, and that this would be the one. That would be a mistake, because this is actually not seeing inside this grid. But regardless, we do need a 1 down here, which gives me a 2, a 1. This is 3 or 4. It is not 4. That's 3. That's 4. This is now 1 or 3. That has to be a 2. This has to be a 3. This is 2 or 3. That's 2 or 3. I need a 4. You can see in here. These are not all 4s. This is the only place for a 4 in this 2x2. This has to be a 2. These are 1 or 3, not 2. This is another worth 3. This is, basically anything but 4. So I'm going to ignore that and move on. Next, we've got 1, 4 in here. That's 2, 3. That's 1, 4. This cannot have a 4 on this arrow sum. Too big. In fact, I think even 3 is too big, because that would be a minimum of 3 plus 2 to get to 5. So this is 1 or 2. And my thinking is this is probably as far as we can push the center grid for the moment. We can push the green one though. 2, 3 in here means that's 1 or 4. Can't have a 4. Exact same logic on this arrow sum of 2 cells with a 4 maximum in the circle. That's 1, that's 4. That tells me that this is a 1, 2, 3 Latin square with this 1 in here and these 2 3s. That's a 1, that's 2, 3. I'm very tempted to say the 1 now, yeah, it has to be in here, and these are from 2 3s. Not really solvable, these 2 3s, except kind of as an angle back through there. So this is as far as we're going to take this Latin square for now. These are 2 3s. This is a minimum of 3, which it isn't. It is a 4. Therefore, that's a 3, that's a 2. This is now 1 or 2. In fact, this is better. That's a 4, because that cell couldn't be 1, 2, or 4. That's a 3. These are from 1, 2. That's another 1, 2, except it is a 1, 2, a 1, 3, 4. We've got a 3 looking at this cell. Sorry, 2, 3, I should say. There's a 3 looking at this cell. That's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 1, that's a 4. Excellent. We've got 1 and 3 in here. Remember, the uniqueness constraint means this is not 1, 2, 3. This has to be a 4. These are from 3, 4. These are from 1, 4, just completing the Latin square. These are 1, 3. Shame we don't know what this is, but I'm wondering if we actually have to look at this next. Probably. you can see that this is a minimum of 3, and of course it's a maximum of 4. So this is limited. 3 or 4 means that this is from 1, 2, and 3 with a definite 1. It's either a 1, 2 to get to 3 or 1, 3 to get to 4. I'm just trying to think, how can I actually force a bit of a decision in here? Thinking. So I keep getting distracted by this 1, 3. And the reason is, essentially, if you take a look at this Latin square, and I may use it now just to sort of, if nothing else, just to lose a distraction. We've got essentially 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4. Now, the remaining 2 sets that are possible is 1, 2, 4, kind of in between these two. I meant 4, not 1, 2, 3. And then 2, 3, 4, where it doesn't use the 1 at all. Now, what you can see is common between these is the 2 and 4, and then there is an optional 1, 3. We just need to figure out what it is. So essentially, one of these Latin squares is 1, 2, 4. One of these Latin squares is 2, 3, 4. That's a 1, 3 cell. These are 2, 4. Distraction over. Do I want to kind of keep going with this square? Because, I mean, it really basically says it's 1, 2, or 3, which is we've already known. I can do a double 1 on here to get to a 2. I can do a double 2 to get to a 4. And obviously, I can do 1 and 3. So not exactly helpful. Let me think about this next. It's a bit of a far-fetched logic, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not entirely sure that's the correct logic. I don't think these 2 cells can be a 2. So I can't do double. In fact, we should probably test 1, 2 as well, but humor me with this. If these are double 2, actually that might work, ignore me. Yeah, better. Here is 1 and 2. The only way to make a 3 would be 1, 2. And then the question becomes, where do you place 2 in this row? It can't be in here, where there's a 2 that conflicts in the column, and it can't be there, where there's a 2 in the same box, / column. So if this is 1 and 2, and this is 3, you've broken the puzzle. So in essence, this has to be a 4. That's a 4, that's a 1, that's a 4. That's now 1, 2, or 3. It's not a 2. It's in fact just 3, 1 or 3. One of these cells has to be a 4. It's not this cell. It's this cell. And this is 2 or 3 just to complete the row. That's correct. And then these are correct. Yep. Now this being a 4, that means that's 2, 3. That's 1, 4. This is 2, 3. This is actually now 1, 3. Just to get to 4. This is 2, 4. And we can probably solve all of this from here. Now, remember what I said about this Latin square, that this is either 1, 2, 4 or 1, 3, 4. The fact that we've got 1, 4 in here as a pair, I mean, that's giving me a 2. But more importantly, that's forcing this to be a 3. Because now this, for uniqueness, that needs to be the 2, 3, 4. And this needs to be the 1, 2, 4. That 3 will probably take us home on this corner of the grid. That's 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Does it help me with any of these? Seemingly not. Then, do we know anything else? We know that these are 1, 4s. Can I solve some of these? Probably. This is from 1, 2, or 3. So I think we kind of need to use... We've sort of exhausted a lot of things. Really, the only way sort of to make progress is to figure out this arrow sum. So if this is a 2, this would have to be a double 1. Here's actually a different piece of logic. what I know is this is not 1, 3. And the reason I know this is this cell here, which is in fact a 1, 3 of its own, sees both of these cells, sees it in the column and sees it in the same 2 by 2 square. So whatever this cell is, it's excluding itself from both of these, and they can't be a 1, 3 combo to add up to 4. This is either a double 1 or a double 2 to add up to a 2 or a 4. So no 3's in here, which I think is quite interesting. And in fact, no 3's in the square, because this is made up of 1, 2, or 4, and it's not a 4, we've got it already in the column. This is 1, 2, that's a 3, that's a 1, that's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 1. It has to be a 3 to add up to 4, that's a 2, that's a 2. These are 1, 3's. There's a 1, 3 set up in here. These are 2, 4's. Well, that 3 sees that 4. So that's a 4, that's a 2, 4, 2. I need a different angle to solve kind of the rest of this, I think. But this 4 gives me a 3, 1, 4, 1, 3. These I don't think are solvable from here. We still haven't exactly figured out what this is. I mean, this is not a I meant to say this is not a 3. This is a 1, 2 pair. This is 3, 4. This is another 3, 4. That's another 1, 2, just completing this row. I don't actually know what this is. And I'm kind of thinking the fact that this is 1, 2. No, I don't know if it helps us, because I can do 2's across like that. Or they could be 4's or 1's across this way. So, in fact, it would have to be 4's. It wouldn't be 1's. If this is 1's, this would have to be, you know, double 4 with a 4, which doesn't work. Or, yeah, so, no, sorry. So if this is 1's, because of this 2, these would be double 2, and then these would have to be 4's. So the one thing that is definitely the case is this is not a 1's diagonal. Sorry, it's not useful information, so just feel free to ignore it. This is from 2, 3, and 4. It is 2, 4 because we've got a 3 in here. Sorry, because we've got a 3 in here seeing this cell. So this is 2, 4. That's the 3. I'm pretty sure that forces now, yep, the 3 in here. These are from 2, 4's. And we've got a 2, 4 looking at this 1. That's a 2. That's therefore a double 2 leading up to a 4, 2. And I think we've got it, ladies and gentlemen. 2, 4, 2 looking down at the 1, 4 looking down at the 3, 3, 4, 1. This 1 sees this 4, this 1 is 2. That's a 4, 2. I think that's a 4 diagonal 1. Yeah. This 2 doesn't see this. What am I missing in here? How do I solve this 1, 3? What am I? Yeah, I do solve it. That 2 is looking at this 2, 3. 2, 1, 3, 3, 1. I need 1 and 2 in here. That 1 tells me that's the 1, that's the 2, that's the 4. If I've not made any mistakes, that's the correct solution now, without some of my earlier silly errors. So, apologies that I needed to post a correction video, but hopefully this was a helpful solve. And excuse the speed, it was really more to just to showcase that it can be solved logically. Hope that you guys didn't mind the correction, and enjoy the other puzzle that I posted for today. Bye-bye for now.